All right, so we'll do a share screen here. So we'll start out. Here we go. Okay. And then I've had some issues with share screen before. So if you have any problems, please just let me know in the chat if it stops moving or whatever. So the application it's accessible in a few different ways. I'm going to go through our website. So if you just go to right here, luskin.ucla.edu, it's going to take you to our website, and then you can just go to apply and you can select which program you're applying to. So if you click on Master of Social Welfare, we actually added this very recently. So now at the top here, there's an Apply Now button. So you can just click on this. It's going to take you directly to the UCLA Graduate Division website portal. So all of our admissions are administered by our graduate division. So we really have no control over like certain specifics of the application, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right, so you come here, and there's going to be this FAQ section. There's a lot of different information here as well if you have questions, but we're just going to go in and launch the application form. And I've already done this, so I'm already logged in. So once you launch the application form, you know what? Let me just log out here. Log out. So let's try this again, just so you can see what it looks like. So if we go to the application form, launch application form. So this is going to be, so it's going to give you two options. If you've already created an account, you're going to log in as a returning user, or if it's your first time, you can create an account from scratch. So I've already made one. So I'm going to go into login here. Hopefully this is memorized, but we'll try to log in here. Okay, great. So every year I create like my own test record so I can kind of go into the application and see what the issues are. But depending on if this is your first time applying or if you applied last year or the year before, they're all going to show up for you. So you'll be able to access all of your different applications or start a new application. So I've already created one for 2021, 2022. So open application, so it's in progress. Okay, so this is the main portal for the application. So I'm not going to go through the FAQ. There's the FAQ section here, a disclosure statement, and then a welcome, and then instructions. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do this on your own time. But so we'll start in the basic information section here. So the main thing to keep in mind in the application is that it's dynamic. So depending on the information you put in, it's going to change your options as you go through the application. So for example, for the fellowships down here at the very bottom, depending on what you put in your application, it's only going to show you the fellowships that you may qualify for. So just keep that in mind. So if there's something that's not showing up for you, that's probably why. I was actually testing it earlier. That's exactly what happened to me. One of the fellowships didn't show up, so I had to go back in and kind of edit some information. So, so the first part, so basic information, you're going to make sure you enter everything in. If you have like a maiden name, for example, you can enter it in the former name section, or if you went by a different name, you can enter it there. And all your biographical information here. Okay, from here.
Forced sterilization.
So can someone mute? I don't know who that is. Okay. So power through. So biographical data.
African Americans.
Eddie A, can you mute yourself?
I got it. Okay. Okay. So biographical data. So this is kind of what I'm talking about right now. Is that depending on what you put here, this is going to change like everything. So I've already done this, but depending on what you do, so like I've entered in United States, but if I enter in like Uruguay, for example, and I don't know the cities in Uruguay, but depending on what you do here, it's gonna change everything, and the dynamics are gonna change. But you want to make sure that you answer all of this. None of this is gonna hurt you. I think some applicants are kind of hesitant to like write down like ethnicity or what have you, but all of this information is going to be a part of like the graduate opportunity fellowship application or the Coda Robles for PhD. So if you want to be considered for those, you want to make sure you complete all of this information. The background information specifically is very important. Like if you're like a foster youth, if you went to community college, if you're first gen, those are all criteria in the fellowship for the graduate opportunity fellowship. So you want to make sure that you complete all of this information. Okay, military service, language proficiency, and then your gender identity and expression. So I'm going to move this back to US for now, just again, because it will change the dynamics of the application. Okay. See what I'm saying? Like every time you enter something and it's going to ask you something else. So this should be good. All right. And if there's any of these on any of these pages, if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Okay, so the UCLA ID, if you went to undergrad here or if you've created an application before, you're going to be assigned a UCLA ID. If you don't remember what it is, that's okay. You may need to reach out to our graduate division and they can look it up for you. Or if this is your first time, you can just skip this and then you'll be assigned one.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you applied a couple years ago and got an ID, would you input it there?
Yeah. So it's with you like pretty much forever. So if at any point you've been assigned the ID, then you would put it in there. There's an email. I'll look it up at the very end. I believe it's online app help at grad.ucla.edu. I'm almost 100% certain. But if you have a UCLA ID, but you don't remember what it is, send them an email and they can look it up for you. I'll verify at the end and I'll put it in the chat, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. Okay, so that's the UCLA ID, and then your citizenship. So again, this is dynamic. So obviously for citizenship, if US, you put that in, and then the resident, that's important for you because it's going to determine your tuition, right? So if you're a California, do you expect to be classified as a legal California resident by the start of the term for which you're applying? So you want to make sure that you mark yes or no there. So for example, if we switch this to, let's do Uruguay again. So this is where if you're like DACA, for example, you can enter in DA. Or if you don't have citizenship status at all, then you would do NN. But these are the other different options you have for your citizenship. But that will only show up if you're not on US. Okay, everyone okay so far, hopefully? Okay, so are you currently receiving financial aid? Yes or no? I mean, this is basically if you're a student. So it's, obviously yes or no here. And then, okay. So plans for graduate study. So this is where you're gonna choose the program that you're applying for. So you want to make sure that if you're applying for a joint concurrent degree, that you select that option. Okay, so if you're doing a public policy MSW, if you're doing a law MSW, public health MSW, you're gonna want to select that. So for our purposes, we're gonna just do social welfare. You can only apply for the fall, so there's no option there. And then we'll go back and we'll look at the PhD in a little bit. Okay, so here, so just tips here. So obviously area of concentration, we're not going to hold you to this. So we ask you for your area of concentration now, but you don't have to officially decide your area of concentration until the end of your winter quarter. So this is just for our purposes to kind of have a better idea of which way you're leaning. This is new, so we have a part-time option now, and we've extended the deadline here. So if anyone's interested in the part-time option, the deadline is December 15th. So for fellowships, December 15th, part-time option, December 15th, final deadline, January 15th. Okay, and then for the courses, you're just entering like how many courses that you took for each of these. So just keep in mind though, it's up to your kind of discretion to decide which of the courses you took would best fit in which category. Because every program is a little different. The course listings are sometimes different. Sometimes they're interdisciplinary. So just base this section on the actual course curriculum rather than the listing of what it was listed under where you took it. And just do your best. So yes.
That's undergrad and graduate?
If you're applying for the master's or the PhD program?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be for both. So it would just be for undergraduate and master's programs.
And then some of these that are interdisciplinary, like whether I decide to list it in 2 places or 1 place, that's like up to my discretion?
So just list the course once, but you can decide, you can choose which category it best fits.
This is not going to be like checked against our transcripts, right? This seems like very subjective.
No, it's not. No. So so there's a couple places that we want to be able to kind of check ourselves. So that's why in some places we ask for information that may seem redundant because we just don't want to miss anything. So we want to make sure that we ask for your resume in addition to your work experience because we just don't want to miss anything. It's the same thing here. We want to have a good idea, like a snapshot of the courses that you've taken, make sure that you've met like the prereqs, but we're still going to look at your transcripts and we're still going to look at the exact course titles and all the courses you've taken.
Oliver, so for example, for a PhD, right, when you have your master's, for example, in social work, and then you have your undergrad, for like the classes in the social work, master's in social work, where would those go specifically?
So there's only 2 really here in the social welfare section down here towards the middle. Okay. So obviously you're gonna probably have more than that. So it's you can just enter in as many as you've taken there.
Okay, great.
But again, we're still gonna look at your transcripts. So for people who have obviously have an MSW, the majority of those classes will go here.
Okay, thank you.
Another question about that?
Yep.
I have a master's in a different field and I am in the middle of an MSW program now and I'm wanting to switch into the PhD program. So I don't have those transcripts because I'm in the middle of it. So what, should I try to send like an incomplete transcript? Yeah. So and this goes for people for the master's program as well. If you're currently a student, just upload your in progress transcript unofficial to the application, just so we can see like what you're doing, what you're taking. And then once your degree posts or your grades post, that's when you would send those in. So for now, you just need to upload your in progress. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Should this also reflect the courses that are in progress or should we leave those out?
So I would leave those out for
Okay.
now. I would say that for like down here, for example, so like the stats course, that's a requirement. So if you're in progress on the stats course, that's very specific, like in this section, then I would list it here as in progress. But for any courses that are just, general courses that are not like a specifically required course, then you can just upload your in progress, and we'll see those.
Okay, thank you.
Oliver, for the work in progress, would I put WIP, the acronym for it, the WIP, work in progress?
For the grade?
For the stats one in
Yeah,
progress?
just do that. You could do IP or WIP, and just make sure you seek out the course and just write it in. And
Okay,
another thing is, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that was it. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a
Yeah.
quick-
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to know, so I know that the master's program is just going to be looking at the previous 60 units. So I'm wondering, so some of the classes that I took that would fulfill those other socio-behavioral requirements, I've taken before like my last 60 units. And so I'm wondering, like, does that matter? They're not going to be on my transcripts that I submit because they've been completed prior to my most recent 60 units.
Yeah. So I mean, we asked for the GPA worksheet, which is going to tell us how well you did in your major. We're going to see the courses you've taken at the institution where you receive your degree or will receive your degree. So anything, if you've transferred, if you did study abroad or anything like that, you can upload those transcripts to your application if they're applicable to social work. Otherwise, we don't really need anything prior to your undergraduate record. Yeah, and then if it's under the 60 or 90 units, it's going to be, if you're a current student, that's totally fine.
I had a question in regards to the statistics, putting it on the application. I took it twice because the first time I didn't pass, but the second time I did. Would I list that here or just the one time that I
And you got the B grade or better?
Yes.
Yeah, so just whichever you got the B grade or better, that's the one you would input in the stats section.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have another question. Sorry about that. You go ahead.
Just really quick regarding the statistics. Does it matter if it's upper division or lower division stats?
No, doesn't matter. As long as it's graded in higher education.
Okay, and then it also only allows you to put in 2 statistics classes. If I've taken more than 2, should I just pick 2?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I mean, we'll see them if they're in your transcripts.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And just to clarify, a 0 is okay. Like, so we require a certain amount of courses, but like if you didn't take like a classics course, a 0 is okay as long as you meet like the minimum threshold of the coursework that we're looking for. So don't worry if there's some of these that you don't have any for.
And what would that minimum be?
So it's 7. Let's see, 4 and 3, I believe. So social behavioral courses. So it's 3 humanities and 4 social behavioral courses, and then the statistics class, and then the human development content class.
I'm sorry, can you restate that?
Yeah, so you'll need, here, maybe we'll go to.
I saw on the requirements for master's in social work, the only thing that I saw listed was the B in statistics.
Okay, so everyone see this? So completion of total of 4 courses in social behavioral sciences, including 1 in human development, and a minimum of 3 courses in the humanities.
So if, just because entering them in the, application, that's the word, is a little bit subjective, if we, for instance, I do have 4 socio-behavioral sciences classes, but I don't list that, but you see that I've taken them on my transcript, is that fine? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I would just make sure that you have at least those courses listed here. As long as it adds up to that 4, then you're fine. The human development content course and the stats course, those are really the ones we are that people tend to be missing more than others. Humanities course and social behavioral, for most of our students, those are not an issue at all. Like just through your electives and through your lower division and your upper division, most people have those just naturally. So the human development content course and the stats course, those are the ones that some people have to actively search out. So if you have a question about like a human development content course, if you have one, if you're not sure, you can always shoot me an email and I can take a look at it. But other than that, yeah, it's just as long as it adds up to those totals in the top section and then the humanities section.
Yeah. What kind of specific? What specific courses generally like fall under human development content?
So almost, I would say like 99% of the time, it includes development in the course title. So like developmental psychology, child and adolescent development, it's almost always included there. So there's some sociology courses that cover it. There's some anthropology courses that cover it. It varies, and that's why it's human development content. It doesn't have to be the entire course. It just needs to cover an element of human development.
Would biology fall under that?
It has to be cognitive development over the lifespan.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we can go more into this. So if you have any, I would say email me if you have a course you're not sure about. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'll leave my email in at the very end.
Question about that stats course. If we had taken a stats course previously and did not get a B or higher, and we are able to take another one after this quarter, are we able to put that on our application?
Yeah, so what you would do is you would find the course you're planning on taking and then enter it in this section here and write IEP for the grade.
Thank you so much.
Question. I've been emailing you about my ambiguity of my transcripts and filling it in. So like, I think someone already asked this, but so if for the humanities, if I don't really know where the classes go in terms of like fine arts versus classics, because I don't really have, I don't know, just it's okay to just try my best as long as it meets the 3, and then you guys will like double check that with the transcripts. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna leave it up to you to to complete these sections, and we're gonna be looking through the transcripts at the course you've taken, and I mean, yeah, and these are not all encompassing either. There may be other elements within the humanities that are not listed here, but just do your best and just try to match them up the best you can.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, for the GPA worksheet, I would like to ask, should we go by year, junior year and senior year, or should we go by strict 90 units? Because I've taken classes during summer sessions.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's the next section here. So first of all, if you click on this, you can download the Excel that will already have the formulas built in. So for the GPA worksheet, so a few things. So to answer your question, don't go back prior to junior year. So even if you're in progress, you're not going to have the 60 or 90 units for the most part. So just count, if you're in progress, count all of your junior senior units. Don't include anything that's not graded, only graded units. And then, yeah, so you never need to go prior to your junior year for the worksheet.
I have a question.
Sorry.
I apologize. So in my case, our field study was technically like credit, no credit. And so I wouldn't include those in my GPA since those don't count.
Right. Yeah, anything that's passed, not passed, then don't include that.
In order to hit that 60 unit requirement, since I did a semester thing, I do have to go a little bit past my junior year, or would I just omit?
Right. I mean, so that's just a general guideline, the 60-90. But if you don't have that in your junior senior year, then don't worry about it. Just include everything in your junior senior, but don't go anything prior to that.
Got it. Thank you.
If your junior year and senior year, it's over 90 units, do you still include everything, or do you just?
No, you would stop there. So yeah, if you have more than the units, that's where you would stop counting backwards. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. It's probably specific only to me, but I had a hard time saving the Excel sheet or uploading it. I'm sorry. So I uploaded a PDF version. Is that okay?
So that's the next thing I was about to say is that, yeah, you have to upload it as a PDF. It doesn't recognize Excel files.
Hey, Oliver, just to clarify on the GPA worksheet. So I'm currently a senior at my college, but basically like So I included my whole junior year, and then for my whole senior year, I just put work in progress. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, you'll just have your junior year, and that's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. My
Yeah,
apologies.
that's fine. No problem.
I also had a question, Oliver. So I attended both colleges that were quarter units, and I also took like summer courses at a junior college during my junior and senior year, and so those courses were semester units. Um, does the GPA worksheet allow me to input both types of units on there?
So your junior college credits, those transferred into your undergraduate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you don't have to include that. So any transfer units, you don't have to include those grades.
Okay, so
because those units have already transferred into your wherever you receive or will receive your degree. So we don't need to, you don't have to calculate those.
So even if I attended those classes, like for example, like during my senior year summer, I took some JC classes, which I don't think those ones have actually transferred onto my UC Davis transcript. So then
right, but
what would I?
But it's still prior to your junior year at UC Davis, correct?
No, it's during my junior year and my senior year as well.
At Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So you took junior college credits while you were at UC Davis that were included in your UC Davis transcripts?
But they didn't get onto my UC Davis transcript. And if it's a little bit too specific, I can send you an email too.
Sure. Yeah. If you could, that would be great. I'm not 100% sure on this one. So yeah, if you could send me an email, I could take a look.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, Oliver, I have a question in regards to the worksheet too. I graduated from UCLA and I had a total of 87 units, but I also completed the child development course after I graduated. So I was wondering if I include that on the worksheet. It does total to 90, so I was wondering if that
right. So it sounds like it wouldn't be a part of your undergraduate degree though, correct?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, so you can include the grade or the transcript for that as coursework because it's applicable to social work, but you don't need to include that in your worksheet.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Oliver. Quick question about the required courses. So if I don't have something that fits I'm not sure if it fits the human development or not, but if it doesn't, is it okay if I plan to take something locally next semester and still apply, or do I have to wait till next fall to apply?
Yeah, no, you can still apply. So for anything that's outstanding, whether it be the SATs or the human development course, you just need to enroll by spring.
Okay.
So you just find the name of the course that you plan on enrolling in and put it in to the course section. And if you're not sure, you can send me an email too, just in case, if you're not sure on if the course will qualify or not.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Oliver, just to clarify, I'm sorry if this was already answered before, but we don't go back prior to junior year, correct? Even if we don't reach 90 quarter units between junior year and senior year.
Right.
So
yeah.
like about
no need to go. Yeah. No need to go back before prior to junior year.
Okay. So if we have less than 90 units, quarter units, that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, for the classes. Sorry, for the classes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just specifically the human development. What if you took classes just for professional development after you graduated? That, for example, child development. Can you input that under that section?
I think it may depend on the institution you took the course at, because there's no grade requirement for the human development content course. But if you want to send me an email, like with the information about the course, I could take a look at it.
Okay, great.
The stats course is required, like a letter grade is required, so it's a little bit different. But for the human development content course, just send me an email and I can take a look at it.
Okay, great.
I was going to ask if so on the Excel sheet, the first year I transferred into my UC, I had to leave to retake a course at a community college. Would I include that one because it was technically my junior year?
Did you receive a grade for it?
Yes.
Okay. So, but did you retake the course and get a new grade for it?
Yeah, I had originally taken it before I transferred into a UC, and then when my first year at the UC, I had to leave to retake it because it turns out I hadn't passed it, and I received a passing grade for it after.
Okay. Yeah, then I would go ahead and include that then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. 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 So we can come back to this if we need to. Let's try to get through the rest here. Okay. So
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry, and I apologize if it's been answered. Are community college transcripts required in addition to the undergraduate transcripts?
No. So
or just everything you did for your bachelor's?
We don't need transfer credits like transcripts. You can upload like specific courses that you've taken if they're very relevant to social work, just so we can see what you've taken. But they're not required. You don't have to request official transcripts from any community college, junior college. You can upload them if you like to your application if there's relevant coursework. If there's not, then you don't have to either.
All right, and so that's specific to this program because I've had issues before where I've uploaded because I took courses in community college when I was in high school, and they show up on my transcript at Cal State from undergrad at Cal State. And so when I applied to different programs, I always got notifications prior to upload my transcripts from community college.
It's department specific, probably. Yeah, we really, our program focuses really more on your major. So there are certain UCLA requirements that relate to your GPA, but for our program, we really don't need anything prior to that.
Okay. And when it asks for like junior and senior year for GPA, that's strictly undergrad, right? It doesn't matter if we're completing a master's program?
If you're in no, because the master's program is probably going to be the 2 years. So you don't, if you just upload your transcripts for your master's program, then we'll be able to see everything there.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, I think we're running a little bit short on time. So this is, just to clarify, so this professional experience here, so this is still under the social welfare tab. So there's another place for professional experience here, if you can see. So just for time purposes, I just want to say that in the social welfare section, go ahead and include everything that relates to social work. Okay, whether it be internships, whether it be volunteer work, you can include all of that in this professional experience for social work. And then for the professional experience section, just include like your latest any kind of work experience you have. So don't include like volunteer work or internships there, but professional experience is going to be all your paid work, and it doesn't have to be related to social work at all. Just your work history there.
And then under supporting documents, is that where we add our CV?
Exactly, yes. So there's no direct place to upload that. So for doctoral applicants, it's going to be your CV and then resume for master's applicants. And then you can upload it as a PDF here. Okay, so very quickly, I'm just going to go back to the plans for graduate study just for PhD applicants. So there's a couple main differences in the PhD application I just want to go over real quick. So this is all the same here. And then when we go down, where is it? Here. So the statement of purpose and the personal statement, the two essays, those are both 500 words each that are required. Those are required by UCLA, by the university. So they really have nothing to do with any of the departments that you're applying to. So we cannot
create the prompts for the information that we want from those 2 essays. So for the doctoral applicants, the statement of purpose, 500 words, that's not enough for our purposes. We need more. So the workaround for that was to create this research essay. So within this text box, it's going to cut you off at 1,000 words. So there actually is a hard word count on this. So this is going to be your research essay. So just for clarity purposes, the statement for the statement of purpose, it's 500 words. You can use an abbreviated research essay as your statement of purpose because the research essay is going to be more important for our purposes. So the statement of purpose and then this research essay right here, they're going to be graded as one document. Okay. So the statement of purpose, that's a requirement. So we cannot get around that. So just write your research essay and then just upload an abbreviated 500-word version of your research essay as your statement of purpose. So you don't have to write a completely new document.
Can you go over that again? I got confused.
Yeah, so UCLA requires a statement of purpose and a personal statement. Those are 500 words each. So that's required by any doctoral applicant, any master's applicant. But for doctoral students, we need more information about research. So we require, in addition to those 2 documents, we require this research essay, which is in this text box here. However, there is some overlap between the statement of purpose and the research essay. So you can use an abbreviated version of your research essay as your statement of purpose so that you're not writing 2 separate documents. So just focus on your research essay, make a shorter version as your statement of purpose, and we're going to look at them as one document. You're not going to get 2 separate grades when we're reviewing applications. Does that make sense?
How strongly will the statement of purpose be looked at? Because an abbreviated version of the 1,000 words will essentially be a different essay because of how much it would change to be half of its size. So how strongly will that one be looked at if the real one?
I mean, so that's why we've combined them as one grade rather than separate grades, because we can't eliminate the requirement for that. So you need to upload something to the statement of purpose, but we don't want you to have to write 2 totally different essays. So you can even just use the first half of your research essay and use it as your statement of purpose.
Thank you.
We're going to look at both, but I mean, the research essay is really what we're factoring.
It sounds like in total you get 1,500 words.
Say that again?
Is that what you're saying? In total, between the personal statement, statement of purpose and research essay, that's a total of 1,500 words. Basically.
So the statement of purpose is 500, the research essay is 1,000. Right, but then, but you can just use the first half of your research essay as your statement of purpose.
Right. Okay.
We've talked about this with the committee, and there's not a great solution to this. We asked them early on if we could create our own prompts for the statement of purpose, but they said we couldn't. So we had to add this option.
Excuse me, Oliver.
Yes.
Hi, it's Adriana. Good evening. Thank you for doing this. I just wanted to clarify on the SOP. So I understand you saying that we could use like the first portion of our research paragraph. Does that mean that we don't necessarily use it as an opportunity to add more detail to some of our experience, like a continuance of where we left off for the research?
You can, if you like. So if you are okay with writing another, so that's an option. If you want to use an abbreviated version of your research essay, you can. You're still going to get 1 grade for the 2 documents, but if you want to use that 500 words to clarify or to delve deeper, you can definitely do that.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure it didn't count against to continue.
No, it will not. No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like what Ronald was saying is another way to look at it is that we have 1,500 words, right? Like you could take that many words to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
you could definitely do that. So yeah, and then you have your personal statement as well. Okay. So yeah, if you have any further questions on that, feel free to shoot me an email, or maybe we have some, hopefully we'll have some time at the end. So that's the main difference between the master's program and then the doctoral program, in addition to your faculty mentors. So you're just gonna want to make sure there's a little drop down here. So in your order of priority, you're gonna want to choose which faculty members you're interested in having as your mentor. This is really important because this is really going to dictate your fit for the program. So, and we were missing a couple new faculty members, but everyone's been added now. So, okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to plans for graduate study and change this back. Okay. So again, so very quickly, the statement of purpose, it's the same for master's and for PhD applicants, but it's 500 words. All the prompts are going to be here for you. So you can choose, 1 or 2 that you feel you can address the best. It's about 1 page, single space, 1-inch margins, 12-point font. And then you can, upload it as a PDF here. So the personal statement, this is going to help serve as, so the Coda Robles is the fellowship for PhD students incoming, and then the Graduate Opportunity Fellowship is for incoming master's students. So your personal statement here, like right here, so you want to be considered for either of these fellowships, you want to be sure to describe your contributions to diversity. So in the beginning, we talked about your biographical information. That information, actually checking that you're applying for one of these fellowships, and then your personal statement, that's your application for these fellowships. So there's nothing else you need to do. So as long as you get it in, for master students, you have to get it in by December 15th. And then for doctoral, it's one deadline, December 15th. Okay. Okay, and then, so the survey information, or the fellowship information here. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So this is only, you can see right here for the Graduate Opportunity Fellowship, it's only available for US citizens, permanent residents, or undocumented students who qualify for non-resident supplemental tuition exemption under AB 540. So depending on the information you put in earlier, that's going to change what shows up here for you potentially. So if you want to apply for the Graduate Opportunity Fellowship, this is going to change. It should change to Coda Robles if you're a PhD applicant, and then you're just going to want to click yes, and then you're going to want to answer these questions. And there's more fellowships as well. These are fairly specific, but you can go through here, read through these, and then you can mark yes to any of them you feel that you qualify for. And some of them, most of them actually require a separate statement for those. So the Coda Robles and Graduate Opportunity Fellowship, there's nothing additional that's required. But for all of for the ones below, there's usually a separate statement or like eligibility verification that you need to upload. Okay, so test scores. So we've completely eliminated the GRE requirement for our master's program. So don't worry about that at all. Question?
Yeah, how likely are you to hit on one of them scholarships?
For the, which program are you applying for? The master's or the PhD?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I just got on this. I mean, I got my master's already in higher education policy and administration. Yeah. But like I'm toying with the idea of going back to school, and I got this thing. So I'm just here to find out more, but I was just seeing that there's opportunities to pay for it because that was a big concern of mine. So when I seen these right here, I was just kind of like pondering.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's a great question. So the fellowship, since we just have many more applicants for our master's program than we do for our PhD program, just the math is going to work in your favor a little bit for the PhD program. So we offer full funding for 4 years in the program through a combination of different stipends, TAships, research positions. But yeah, if you're interested in applying for our PhD program, the likelihood of receiving the Code Robles it's going to be higher, but it's all going to depend on you. You know, your contributions to diversity, your biographical information. But if all of those things add up, then your chances are going to be higher just due to the math for the Code Robles for the doctoral program.
Oliver, one quick question for you before you move on to test scores, because I know that's important. For the fellowship applications, is all those applications due for a MSW program the same day that the application is due?
So you have to submit all of this at the same time. So anything that you feel you qualify for, you would have to submit when you submit your application.
Understood.
Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. So like the Will Rogers, this is for graduate students with disabilities. So you would need to upload a letter from your doctor verifying this in your application.
Hi, I had a quick question that has to do with citizenship and the fellowship. For my UC right now, I'm considered AB 540 with a U visa. Would it be the same for graduate school? Because on the section, so do I put other visa or the NN option?
Why don't you, if you can send me an email, I want to make sure I get you the most correct information on that. Yeah, if you can shoot me an email, I'll drop my email in, actually, let me drop it in right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's for very specific questions and questions that are very important, such as that. I would just, if you could just shoot me an email, I can make sure that I either get you the information or get you to the right place to get you the information.
Oliver, I had a question. To be considered for the fellowship and talking about your contributions to diversity, is there a couple of the questions discuss diversity? So is there a specific one of the prompts that we're supposed to be answering? No,
so you can choose.
So
you only have 5
future contributions as well, like, because there's one that discusses how you will, I don't have the exact wording, but how you will encourage diversity in your field in the future in higher education. So any of those are fair game.
Yeah, you can say what you hope to do with your MSW and how you hope to contribute to diversity post MSW.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Oliver. For master's applicants who are not applying to for a fellowship, how would the personal statement be evaluated?
So, I mean, they're all going to be evaluated the same way. It's just that we're going to be looking for specifics to diversity for fellowship applicants.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a quick question.
Yes.
So we could pick more than one topic though for our personal statements, correct?
The prompts?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can choose. I mean, it depends on how you write, really. You have 500 words, so you can really focus in on one, or you could, address a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Oliver, I wanted to ask as well, are there any, is there any just general feedback or guidance you can offer us regarding our statements, maybe on how to stand out or what a good statement might look like?
Sure. Yeah. Why don't we get into that? Why don't we get through the rest of these, and I can kind of offer some more feedback in regards to the application and the statements. But I just want to make sure that we get all of this information out. We have about 10 minutes left, but I'll definitely get to your question. But let's see if we can try to get through all these other bullet points here real quick.
Okay, thank you.
So test scores again. So MSW, not required at all. So we can't really even consider them if you do submit them. So for the PhD program, we've actually waived it for fall 2021. Due to the pandemic. So that's something that's usually required in the PhD program. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the test registration number. So again, supporting documents, we talked about this earlier, but for MSW, you're gonna wanna upload your resume into the supporting documents section. If you're a PhD applicant, you're gonna wanna upload your CV here.
Is there a difference between both resume and CV?
CV is everything. So usually they're like 5 pages. So for doctoral students, you know, you're gonna probably have links to like your research and things like that, your publications. So in general, they're gonna be longer, but yeah, so we want for the PhD program, we want to see everything, but for the resume, for the MSW, we're wanting to see like highlights.
How many pages would the resume be acceptable?
I would say 2 max.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and the letter of recommendation, so we need 3. Okay, so general recommendation, most programs, you're gonna want to enter all this information. You can enter in a personal message to your recommender that they'll receive. And then this is totally up to you. You can waive your right to see the letters after the admission process is over, or you can, so it's up to you. It's not gonna affect your application at all. We don't even see this information. So it's totally up to you. If you want to be able to access the letters later, you can do that, or if you don't want to, then you can waive out of that. So so don't worry about it affecting your application, whichever you choose.
I have a question.
Yep.
One of my sorry if this is super personalized, but one of my recommendation letter people, she's kind of about to start a new job, so she couldn't put her current like professional position email. Is that okay? Like I saw that it said if you use like their Gmail or their personal ones, it could be under review, but is that okay for considering the situation?
Yeah, I mean, that happens, and it happens on occasion. So yeah, if that's the situation, then that's fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
I can ask this later too, because it's a little bit more personalized, but I kind of have a similar issue. One of the recommenders I wanted to use, they're not under organization, they're part of a group that started because of like COVID. Should I look elsewhere for a recommendation, or would it be okay to put them?
Yeah, I mean, you can still include them. I mean, for the organization, the position and title, for example, I would include like what their position, what their title organization was during your relationship, like whether they were your professor or what have you. So that way we'll understand what your relationship was.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily matter as much what they're doing now, rather what they were doing when you had your relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's up to you. Okay. So once you start your application, I would try to enter this information as quick as possible, because once you verify this, they get the link right away, immediately. So that gives them time to write the letter and to submit it. Because if you wait until you're finished with the application and then you do this part, then you're going to be waiting for them to submit their letters. And these are always the last things that come in. And you can submit your application before the letters come in. So you don't have to wait for the letters to come in.
Oliver, is there an additional recommendation form, or is that link that the recommender receives all that's going to be needed in addition to the letter that?
Yeah. So they're gonna receive your personal message. They're gonna receive instructions on what we're looking for, and there's also a survey where they rate your performance. So they'll have everything they need to write the letter.
Great, thank you.
Okay, all right, so fee waiver. So again, we don't administer our applications at all. They're all done through our graduate division. So unfortunately, we have no control over the fee waiver programs. So UCLA has installed all of these pipeline programs, as well as the need-based programs, which is very specific. So for need-based fee waivers, you have to be a current student receiving financial aid. So, or you have to come from one of these pipeline programs. So unfortunately, I wish there was, we're working on trying to create a fund to be able to assist, but it's something that at this time we have zero control over. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it. So once you go to your review, this will give you access to kind of what you've done and what you're still missing. And then you can save it for later. And then once you submit your application, anything that we add on our end, you'll see. All of the updates are going to come through your application portal. So you'll get an email saying you have an update with a link. You go to your application portal, you'll see updates. If you send in an official transcript, we're adding those now. So if you submit your application, you send in an official transcript. If we add it, then you'll see it in your application.
Oliver, if the transcript we upload on the application is the official version, do we still need to have it sent electronically to UCLA?
So, I mean, so the bad thing about that is once you open an official transcript, it's not official anymore. So there's no way for you to upload an official transcript, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
So you can wait though, like just, so we need the official transcript to admit you. So if you want to wait to find out, you know, which way things are looking, you don't have to send those in until that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay that the one we upload is the official on the application, rather than
absolutely.
the unofficial? Just okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, student copy, whatever you have is fine. That's just for the review.
Got it.
Oliver, so for transcripts, it's okay if we upload the unofficial, and then that means if we get accepted, then we'll send the official one. So we don't have to send the officials until we're accepted, but we can upload on the application the unofficial ones.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
great.
Yeah, and we've done that partly due to COVID. Like the mail system is very irregular right now. We're not getting a lot of transcripts right now that have been sent, so it costs money. So we're just saying, you know, just wait. If you can't, you can by all means. E-transcripts are great. We can process those same day, but for mail, it's very irregular right now.
So before we submit our application, do we need to send unofficial transcripts to UCLA?
No, so it's all done through the online portal.
Okay, thank you.
So you upload your transcripts, whatever you have, to your portal so that we can review them. And then if you're admitted, that's when you would request e-transcripts or mail transcripts directly from your university sent to us.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I already sent my transcripts via mail. After I submit my application, will I get like a notification that you received my transcripts?
So you should see it in your application as soon as we upload it.
Okay.
Yeah, so just there's no like notification, just because there's so much volume.
Yeah.
We just don't have the capacity to be able to do that. So, but just due to the pandemic, once we receive transcripts, we're just uploading those all to the applications as we get them.
Okay, thank you.
And then I don't want to forget, so there was a question about the essays. So, I mean, we've done a couple information sessions, but for the essays, the personal statement, the statement of purpose, they're really persuasive arguments, really. That's what they are. They're essays for persuasion, right? So your statement of purpose is the what or the why, right? So you want to talk about like why social work, why UCLA, you know, why Luskin. If you're a doctoral student, why Professor Abrams. And then the personal statement is the who. So it's really all about you. So we want to know who you are as a person. So our admissions are all holistic. So everything we ask from you is a chapter in a book. and we're looking at the entire book. We're not looking at one piece. We're not just saying 4.0 from Harvard, great, put her in. We want to see everything. So we want to make it as inclusive as possible. So, so personal statement is really your only opportunity to tell us who you are as a person.
Can I ask a question about those two? How personal versus professional should they be? Because when I've looked at other graduate programs in the past, and they've wanted everything to remain very professional and not kind of get into like maybe personal reasons as to why the course of study is of interest. And so I'm just wondering where that line is for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that may vary from department to department. Like for social work, many people go into social work for very personal reasons. So I would say be as honest and transparent as you're comfortable with, knowing that there's going to be a couple faculty members that are going to know your story. You'll probably never know who they are, but you have to be okay with that. But the more honest and the more transparent the essay, 99% makes it better.
I just kind of want to add on to that. I feel like I've heard from a lot of professors at my school not to get too personal. So you're saying this program kind of prefers that though?
I mean, social work is a very vulnerable field. Like you have to be okay with being vulnerable. So, I mean, again, I mean, we've had students who have told like unbelievable stories that just I remember to this day that I can't forget. So they really make an impression. So the statement of purpose, I would say in general, is going to be the more professional. You want to create that as more of a professional document. But the personal statement, for our purposes, we really want to know your personal journey. We want to know what you've overcome. We want to know the obstacles you face. Resiliency is a big part of what we're looking for, and the ability to overcome things and to lead. And a lot of that comes through personal experience.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So hopefully we've covered all the main points. I dropped my email in the chat, so feel free to email me if you have any other questions. Does anyone have any final questions?
I'll be sending you an email because I have a question about a particular psychology class that I want to see if I need to actually take or not. But I'll send you an email.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So any specific questions that we didn't cover today, yeah, feel free to shoot me an email. Hopefully this was helpful though in regards to like the general application and kind of what we're looking for, what to put in specific categories. But yeah, we're here for you as a resource. We want you to be able to put the best application forth that you can. So yeah, feel free to reach out anytime if you have any questions. This is officially our last event of the year, but we may add more. So so thank you, everyone. Good luck with the rest of your application. We look forward to reviewing them soon. Yes, take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.